I hope. Yes. So we were focusing on earlier that paradigm shift in basic process of teaching and learning. So if we really compare, if we really just discuss and compare the basic dynamics of teaching learning process then and now, then definitely the teacher's role has been changed completely. Now it was earlier the teaching to learn, now helping to know. Teacher, because teacher has to play the role of facilitator and like a mentor, because you just extend your help even to know the learners. So teacher's role has been changed. The learning process, earlier the learning was just considered learner as a commodity to be acquired through transmission. The basic process was transmission. Nowadays we have to assume that learning is not an objective process, it's not an objective experience. Learning is a subjective experience. Means what? Each and every learner has their own pace of learning, has their own emotion, their own interest, their own aptitude, their own attitude. So learning is a subjective experience and requires to take place within individual. So I mean, developing any teaching learning program, particularly with the help of technology. So we have to, consider that learning is a subjective experience requires to take place with an individual. So learner is not now not a passive receiver of knowledge through transmission, but learner is an active creator of knowledge using assimilation, accommodation, cognitive learning. So all like the psychologists like Jean Piaget and uh, like even Brunner and all. So basically they focus on the cognitive aspect. The research evidences show that learner is an active creator of knowledge using assimilation. Assimilation means what? It just when we assimilate the knowledge, I mean, when knowledge is new, new knowledge into the old schema, that is called assimilation. So we are not going to change the basically the cognitive structure even. That is called assimilation. But when we the thing would be what? The new knowledge must create new schema. When we when new knowledge is there and old schema is there, then it is the example of assimilation. But when we just focus on what, when new knowledge is there and that the existing cognitive structure must be modified. So that I mean, even new knowledge must create new schema. So and must create new schema means just we have to modify our older schema. We have to adapt that one. So this is accommodation. So assimilation and accommodation, it's a basic dynamics of learning. So we have to take care of that, and we have to assume that a learner is an active creator, and they use basically the assimilation and accommodation kind of experience. And the earlier it was high compliance because we have to comply only. Now we just focus on the high achievement. Earlier it was a time driven, now it's a result driven. Earlier it was only subject knowledge, now it's a process knowledge, because the process is very important. And process means what? Not only cognition, metacognition is very important. How, basically, how we learn. So learning about how to learn, that is more important. Learning to learn, that is more important. So even the Delors report, even 21st century learning document is that. So there are 4 pillars basically. So learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, learning to live together. So the technology must be based on that. So learning to learn, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. So this is what it is important. So now, earlier it was subject knowledge, now it's a process knowledge. And process means what? The cognitive process must be taken care of. And earlier it was rote learning, memorizing. So before developing any applications, before developing any technological, kind of stimulation. So first of all, we take decision to whether it would be, useful for promoting critical thinking or not. So now it's a time for promoting critical thinking. And earlier it was only we focus on academic weaknesses. Now we have to now consider, we have to take care of the personal strength even. So if we will be focusing only the weaknesses part of the learner, the disability part of the learner, and we are not even focusing on the ability part of learner, then the teaching learning process must not be effective. So ability, the personal strengths must be taken care of. So this is what the paradigm shift is there in teaching learning process. So government owned and operated. Earlier it was only the government on it. It was the responsibility of the government only. But now the several models of government, even the new education policy also is focusing on that. There would be private and public and philanthropic, all philanthropic institutions, like all missionaries, all the charity, I mean, leading institutions. So all they must take part in this teaching learning process and all kind of educational initiative. So this is what basically it is now. It was earlier the time and the space bound learning. Now it's learning anytime and any place. And in this learning anytime, any place, technology is playing the key role only. So earlier it was teacher centered, now it's student centered. Now earlier it was only the textbook, now it's multimedia materials. Because the textbooks only, it is visual stimulation centered. Just you can imagine, if textbook is there and that textbook conversion is not associated with, integrated with the audio stimulation, then it cannot be, the textbook cannot be the audio visual aids. That's why the making audio visual aids, the audio stimulation and the visual stimulation must be there. And not only audio or visual stimulation, some type of activity oriented, so that kinesthetic experience, that tactile experience, that must be there. So multimedia materials is a need of the hour to promote effective teaching and learning. So now, earlier it was considered the one pace for all. Now, just we are considering, because the importance of psychology, the importance of basically the learner centered. So we are now focusing on different rates and styles of learning is there. It's a not homogeneous style. It's not a very kind of the uniform style. No, learner is, if having different abilities, then definitely we have to take care of the different rates and styles of learning. So the neurological, research also focuses on that. Just we have 2 hemisphere in our brain, basically right hemisphere and left hemisphere. So right hemisphere does different kind of activity, and right hemisphere does different kind of activities. And there is a special connecting kind of organ that is called corpus callosum. And corpus callosum makes balance and makes communication between right hemisphere and left hemisphere. Right hemisphere brain is completely the creative one. It's completely the emotion based. Completely, it's a kind of subjective experience. But the left brain is completely logical, is completely rational. So that I mean, if that basically the science and the inquiry, scientific inquiry, so it's mostly focus on the left brain hemisphere. So basically, developing any content in especially in teaching learning. So the right hemisphere, judicious balance of right hemisphere and left hemisphere must be there. So just and that even we can even pursue the research in this area. That contextual research must be there. Otherwise, we will be developing, we will be investing our resources, the result would be zero. So that we must know which learner is right hemispheric, which learner is left hemispheric, and which learner is ambihemispheric. So the right hemispheric, left hemispheric, and both hemispheric. So that hemisphericity of learning, that dominance of hemispheres, that must be taken care of. So now it was oriented, earlier it was only building oriented learning. Now it's a multiple access points for learning. And in making the multiple access points for learning, it's a technology only. So earlier it was mass instruction, but technology has made it more personalized. But that personalized and that differentiation, that the addressing the different styles of learning, that must be there, which will make more personalized instruction and personalized learning. So this is what it is, the basic pedagogical kind of canons, pedagogical kind of formula, pedagogical consideration. So when we also discussed and just I shared that earlier, the UNESCO's 4 pillars of education to be incorporated in teaching learning process, that is learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, learning to live together. And learning to know, and basically in Indian tradition, it is also called Gyan Yoga, and learning to do is called Karma Yoga, and learning to be is called Atma Yoga, and learning to live together is called Sahyog. So from Gyan Yoga to Karma Yoga to Atma Yoga to Sahyog, that if we have to design any teaching learning program, then and if we have to take the help of technology, then definitely the all 4 pillars must be taken care of. So the knowing part, the doing part, the being part, and the living together part. So this is what it is important. And as we know that world now, it's a global village, increasing dominance of information and communication technology. And it's the good, basically the population explosion, information explosion, knowledge management in the perspective of limited resources. So sometimes we feel that the overloaded information, the overloaded data, the overloaded makes the teaching learning process very, monotonous, and it's really, it increases the passivity. So we have to from data to information to knowledge to wisdom. So that hierarchy must be followed. So we, being a man of technology, being a person of technology, we should not only, develop the all teaching learning content, teaching learning material, the information based. So you must focus on the maybe data, maybe information, but focus should be on knowledge and wisdom. So this is what, that integration, that management must be there. So then only we can address the situation of population explosion, information explosion, and definitely it's a great challenge in these days how to manage the knowledge, because the thing is what, each and every materials are on internet, some solicited and some unsolicited, some the useful, some unuseful. So because we have to develop the wisdom part of the learner, which one is which information is correct, which knowledge is correct, which is incorrect, that wisdom must be there. So otherwise it will be very difficult. So now it's not only one facet developmental goals, multi-facets developmental goals are there. That's why in this new education policy, even the multidisciplinarity So just the disciplinary untouchability. Just I used to say this word, disciplinary untouchability. So disciplinary untouchability must be removed. You can ban the physical untouchability, but the disciplinary untouchability, the disciplinary compartmentalization, the disciplinary segregation must be avoided, because no human problem can be solved through one discipline. So monodisciplinary, that interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and transdisciplinary. So these are the disciplinary aspects. So being a teacher, being an academician, being a researcher, so disciplinary consideration must be there. So nowadays, the man of physics feels very, superior basically. The man of mathematics feels superior. The man of maybe the computer science may feel superior, but no human problems, no developmental goals can be resolved through one discipline. So the disciplinary boundary it must be removed, it must be diluted. So this is what needed. That's why for the holistic development, for the addressing the multifaceted developmental goals, the multidisciplinarity, and the holistic development, and the holistic perspective of life must be there. So we have to remove the disciplinary boundary. That's why the choice-based credit system. So computer fellow may take one paper for education as a subject. So if he will be studying MCA with a paper of education, then definitely he would be a good pedagogue. He would be, or she would be a good andragogue. He would be or she would be a good teacher even. So, and a good researcher even. So master of computer application, bachelor of computer application, they can develop a good software. But the software related with teaching and learning process, they must know what teaching and what learning and what the philosophical foundation, sociological foundation, psychological foundation, the all foundation of teaching and learning process. What is this? So they must know. So this is what this now after 74 years, just we have developed a good policy, and we have focused on that. Just the the tight compartment, the tight kind of the severe compartmentalization, this must be avoided. So no hard separation would be there between arts and science, between curricular and extracurricular, and between vocational and academic stages. No hard separation should be there. So that's why multidisciplinarity. So technology should be based on the basis of the physiological system, the biological system, the spiritual system of the human being. So only that way we can address the problem. So capacity building and knowledge empowerment of the people for promoting new upcoming multidisciplinary fields of knowledge, that should be there. Then we can be able to bridging the digital divide in education, because it's a major concern in these days. So just you see it's a just if you will be uh, making a study, basically just the students who are studying in Patna Women's College, and if you will find any college of Magad University, any college of Mithila University, any college of Bhagalpur University, and in remote areas, if colleges are situated, then you will find the drastic and the great difference between the student of Patna Women's College and the student of Mithila University. Why it is this? So basically, there is digital divide in every aspect. So we have to bridge the digital divide in education by making this teaching learning process equitable and judicious. So because now we all know that there is increment in personal and occupational mobility, There is a materialistic orientation of life, and education for all campaign is also there. Lifelong learning we are focusing on. Rise of knowledge economy and knowledge society is there. And just we have to balance the socio-economic fabric even in terms of all disability, tribal part, transgender part, and the socio-economic condition, geographical part. So all we have to balance the socio-economic fabric, and we have to focus on education for employment, enlightenment, and empowerment. So that 3E must be there: employment, enlightenment, and empowerment. So this is what it is there. So there is a trend. Now we have to focus on our future part. Okay, what would be? What would be the vision document? What would be the implementational strategy? What would be the next exit basically for future? So now the new curricular and pedagogic trends are there. ICT driven teaching learning process move from idealistic to pragmatist, because idealist only focuses on the ideas, and pragmatist basically focus on the utility part. Pragma means utility, it's a Greek word. So pragmatism must be there. So the idealist to pragmatist, shift from teacher centric to learner centric, OER based e-learning, because open education resources, just basically there is a philosophy of what the copyright material and copy left material. So copy left material means what? If just because if I am a professor, if I am a teacher, if I'm a researcher, and then because due to the society, due to the community, due to the nation, I am a teacher, I am a researcher. So there is an equal stake of all, society, the community members, even the parents, the community, all. Because if I create some knowledge, then the right is of society also. So it's not my copyright only, because society has made us. So there must be the concept of copyright not, but copy left, because it's not art intellectual property right only. So if there is two string, copyright and copy left, copy, and there is, you might have heard about Creative Commons. That's why if you will be studying the licensing pattern of the any content, Creative Commons, then you will be finding that Creative Commons is just like you can share the material, but you have to acknowledge. So that SA, that NC, that all kind of ND, non-derivatives, shared alike. So all these are the licensing pattern of Creative Commons. Creative Commons assume that the knowledge is the right of knowledge is completely, basically the society is having the all rights of knowledge to use upon. So OER based e-learning, OER means open education resources, just like learning through Moodle, MOOC platform, like our government of India initiation like SWAYAM, like all kind of initiatives. So this is what it is needed. It is based on the democratization of education. It is based on basically the universalization of education. So technology has made us to feel the decentralization, basically the power decentralization. So it is very helpful in that, but particularly we have to focus on the language part, we have to focus on the socio-cultural part, we have to focus on the all dynamics of the learner basically. So the multicultural and multilingual education must be there. So being a teacher, being an academician, being a researcher, so a multicultural and multilingual aspects must be there. So this is what we just shifted. We have shifted, because earlier it was assumed that knowledge or education is the matter of instruction only. But no, nowadays, just we do believe in that. So knowledge is the matter of construction rather than receiving only. So it's a shift. It's a huge shift from instructivist to constructivist. Because in instructivist, it's a teacher centered, because teacher provides the instruction, teacher gives the instruction. But in constructivist, learner creates the knowledge. So that's why the activism of learner should be there, and technology makes them more comfortable. So it's like that. just as we have discussed earlier also, that 21st century, the teaching learning process is dynamic, demanded, and directed, because it must be focused on, that learning must be focused on the promoting sustainable learning for development. So this is what. So the all initiative, all pedagogic or andragogical initiatives must be having the flexibility component. Flexibility means what? If the children with the special needs are there, if students with the special needs are there, if tribal students are there, if minorities students are there, if audio learners are there, if visual learners are there, if kinesthetic learners are there. So if suppose if you are making any video, if you are developing any content, and you know that the hearing impaired student cannot, their language is impaired, basically their speech is impaired. So if you will be developing any teaching learning content, and in English, and not in sign language, then that teaching learning material would be really obsolete, really would, it would be I mean, it's good for nothing. So when just if you are how to make, how you'll be making this teaching learning content uh, very much based on universal design. So if you will be if you have developed any teaching learning, and if you integrate that video, just if you translate it in sign language, then the small icons and a small window must be for sign language interpretation, and the whole content would be in audio, visual, and sign language format. So it would be the accessible format. So accessible format must be there. So then it would be only based on the universal design. So because just we have to take care of the all learners. So we have to develop in sign language, we have to develop in basically on the braille text, we have to have the technology related to braille to text, and sign language to text. So if you are not comfortable in sign language, and you are a hearing teacher, then definitely if you are not a deaf and dumb, then your teacher, your student is supposed deaf, then definitely the student are more comfortable in sign language, and you are not comfortable in sign language. Then what would be the linking channel? So only technology would be the linking channel. So sign language, there are a lot of software. So sign language can be translated and can be changed into text format. So we can be comfortable in reading the text format, and the hearing impaired students would be comfortable in sign language. So technology can play a great role in that. So flexibility in teaching learning should be there. Increased learners' autonomy. We have to give the autonomy basically to learners, because the all teaching learning process is, done in the keeping in the mind of the learner's autonomy. If learner is not autonomous, if learner is not, basically independent, then definitely you cannot make them learn. So the knowledge dissemination through various technological interventions should be there, and it must be focused on competency, proficiency, not only on the base of rote memory. So the only the rote memorization would be not working even. So competency and proficiency based education is the need of the hour, and not only competency and proficiency, but multi-skilled education at various levels. Now, before pandemic, if you will be studying, just you make a research, just if you do a research. So definitely, if you will be pursuing a research, then you will be finding the result even before pandemic, before this corona period, means even 90% teachers are well versed in now. I mean, handling at least the handling the technology as per their need. But before, just after this COVID period, before that period, the teacher even they not focusing up even using the technology in a judicious manner. So this situation made us very much sensitized, make us very much sensitized. So multi-skilled education at various levels, it is important. So now this is the, situation of classroom. Now it is the paradigm shift in teaching learning materials even, just because it is the need of the hour. So we have to be well versed in traditional mode of teaching and technology mediated teaching. So this is what it is need of the hour. So teacher and learner in modern learning environment, if you will focusing on. So this is the complete kind of, now learner is self-directed, as we discussed. Learner is self-motivated, self-regulating, lifelong learning. So it is what learner is there. So teacher must and should develop knowledge and skills to deal with the modern dynamics of teaching and learning. And they must understand the learning and its need. They must focus on the facilitative learning, so to create the learning opportunities even. So this is the biggest challenge, how to create the learning opportunities. If you are not a good psychologist, if you are not a good sociologist, the application part of sociology, the application part of sociology and psychology, then you cannot be a good teacher. So you can be a good technocrat, you can be a good techno facilitator, but you cannot be a good teacher. So how to create the learning opportunities. So to create learning opportunities, you have to be a good teacher, and you have to first of all study your learner and the learning dynamics. And an administrator also plays the key role. So if you are a good teacher, if you want to implement, if you want to develop some multimedia content, and if you want to upload on that, if your administrator is not supporting, then how could you facilitate them? So that administrator must be sensitized. They get oriented, so that creative learning environment, provide ICT infrastructure. This is the essential kind of thing, and they must provide the resources for lifelong learning. So this is what the total ambience of education, the milieu of education is there. So if we will be considering the all aspects, then we can say it's a modern learning environment. Otherwise it will be very difficult. And as we know, the teacher's role in modern era. So just as we also discussed, the optimum use of technology, blending modern and old methods. As I say frequently more often, that so you have to well versed in the modern and old method, traditional method. So because sometimes only technology cannot be solve the all problem, because technology in education is a journey. Just you keep in mind, technology in education is a journey and not a destination, and the capacity will be needed to orchestrate the various ecosystem players, and even to implement policy objectives and technology mediated learning. So a dedicated unit for the purpose of orchestrating the building of digital infrastructure, digital content, and capacity building will be created and should be created by the ministry, by the university, by the colleges, to look after the e-education, which is the needs of both at the school level, even at early childhood care and education level. So the new formula of education would be, the new layers of education would be, as per the new education policy, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. So for 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, the technology would be playing the key role. So for that, since technology is rapidly changing, rapidly evolving, and needs specialists to deliver high quality e-learning, a vibrant ecosystem has to be encouraged, right? To create solutions that not only solve India's challenges of scale, diversity, equity, but also evolve in keeping with the rapid changes in technology, whose half-life reduces the with each passing year, basically. This center will therefore consist of, definitely will be consisting of experts drawn from the field of administration. That's why multidisciplinarity context must be there. Education, educational technology, digital pedagogy, and assessment and e-governance. So with the help of administrator, educator, educational technology person, digital pedagogue, and assessor, and e-governance, we can make it happen. So this is what it is. The need of the hour, and definitely, if we will be encouraging the collaborative learning and facilitating lifelong learning, then we can make the society inclusive by promoting inclusive education. So this is the pedagogic trends, basically. The 21st century pedagogic trends. Constructivist model of learning means learner should be active. Democratic model of learning. So on the basis of liberty, fraternity, equity, equality, all. And not only the mass model of learning, but personalized model of learning. Because each and every learner has their own pace, basically. Has its own pace, basically. So novelty and flexibility. Because each and every learner needs a novel experience. उनको नया अच्छा लगता है. Basically, they need flexible. One design fit for all नहीं होगा. So this must be novelty. This must be based on novelty and flexibility in teaching and learning, and skill and proficiency based learning, increased learners' autonomy, increased technological intervention, multi-skill oriented curriculum at various levels. So emerging trends in e-learning is there, social software. Because the social software, social networking, sometimes if used properly, if we can use it properly, then it will be more useful. If we don't use it properly, then definitely that social software would make us asocial. So I mean, what that the pedagogy, first of all, teachers have to orient their students. How you have to use, what would be the modalities, what is do's and don'ts. So there, I mean, whether it should be social software, mobile learning, open educational resources, cloud computing, learning analytics. So first of all, we have to take all considerations, because the Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, in these days we are using a lot of applications, basically. So like Google Classroom, we cannot directly connect with, we cannot make web conferencing. So just you can integrate with Google Classroom with Google Meet. So that integration must be there. You can take the help of even WhatsApp, even few students are there. If you have to give the personalized instruction, then definitely the WhatsApp may be used, and the Facebook live streaming may be used, the YouTube live streaming may be used. So it is, that definitely would save your time, you save your resources. Definitely, for planning and for executing, it needs a lot of resources, it lots of expertise. So, before developing any teaching learning material, first of all, you must be a pedagogue, and then the knowing of technology should be there. So evolving use of social and networking tools for a range of learning activities. So because only one method, only one tool cannot be, would be judicious. So evolving use of social and networking tools for a range of learning activities. So you have to first of all, identify the learning activities, learning experiences, and that as per the need of the learner, you have to select the social networking tools. So students are seeking out peers as a first port of call, as you know, because when we do face any problem, then definitely first of all we make a call to our friends. So it's a natural phenomenon because there is no pressure, there is no stress even. There is no even we are not very cautious even. So we can our first of all our peers team, our friends are a good facilitator of learning basically. So I mean, what would be the consideration of integration in peers kind of interaction, peers learning, even cooperative learning. So this is the new model of learning, cooperative learning, peer-based learning, one-on-one learning. So all type of alternative learning paradigm maybe focused on. So this is what, because students definitely they feel much more comfortable in making the call in the students. So students are seeking out peers as a first port of call. So before making it, before developing it, before executing it, all kind of decision, all consideration must be taken care of. So this is what the emerging trends. So the digital pedagogy. So as we know that mobile learning nowadays is it sometimes we feel that without mobile life is not possible. So the mobile learning even refers to a conceptualization of mobile learning in terms of the learner's experiences and an emphasis on ownership, informality, mobility, and context that will always be inaccessible to conventional third e-learning. So what would be the and many of consideration like whether mobile is available for learner or not, network connectivity is there or not. So before making it, because if mobile learning is compulsory and mobile based learning is compulsory, then uh, as a teacher, as a researcher, as an administrator, we have to take care of whether the network issue, whether the infrastructure, where the mobile, where the compatibility of that, where the software, where the all the applications, the students are able to handle them or not. So this is what it is. It is needed. So the basically the new technology and the new generation even. So there is debate regarding teaching learning process. It is an increasingly common view that students of recent generation don't have a defining set of homogeneous generation based characteristics related to their use of technology. So definitely they don't have a defining set of homogeneous, because learners are very heterogeneous. Because I don't know how many students are, how many disabled students are, how many sensory impaired students are enrolled at Patna Women's College. But if you will be interacting with them, then you will be finding, then you will find even whether this technological apps, because they are the most marginalized, they are the most, have-nots group, they are the most oppressed group. So that sensitivity must be there. So because some learners may be uh, facing learning disability, some may be facing the cerebral palsy, some may be facing some uh, uh, the trait of slow learners, some may be facing the intellectual disability, some may be facing some language problem, some may be facing some other socioeconomic condition. So that heterogeneity and matching the heterogeneity with the technology, it should be there. Otherwise, That sensitivity is pedagogy. That sensitivity and that managerial skill must be there. That technology management must be there. So as a decision maker, as a researcher, you have to take care of. And being a higher education institution, you must take this type of research even. So how the differential ability of the learner must be, and how it would be integrated with the technology even. So use based technology, learner based technology, it should be there, and so that they could be engaged, so that they could be empowered, so that they could be enlightened. So variation in students' technological skills and abilities influence how they use technology. So there is definitely, however, the new technology emerging with this generation have particular characteristics that afford certain types of social engagement. And because learner is a social being, learner is not a robot. Learner is not only matter. Learner is having mind. So that social engagement, that personal engagement, this attribute, this particular aspect must be taken care of if you are a pedagogue, if you are a andragogue, if you are a teacher. Then technology can be a effective tool, because technology is not our master. Technology in education, just as I said, it's a journey, it's not a destination. And that type of ecosystem we have to make. And of course, these are the drivers of e-learning in higher education and even the school education, even nowadays. Accessibility of technology, as I discussed also, in terms of socio-economic condition, in terms of format, in terms of disability, in terms of all the barriers, basically. Anywhere, anytime, living, changing school and pedagogic practices. Nowadays, it's changing because in early phases, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, because 50 years ago, education was not a fundamental right in India. But nowadays, the campaign is there, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Uchtar Shiksha Abhiyan. All these are abhiyans, campaigns. Now, there is a mandate to enroll all learners because education is a fundamental right. So nowadays, the classroom size is big. And diversified socio-cultural conditions are there. So, I mean, there is changing of learner expectations, expectations of 21st century workplaces. So if you focus on all these aspects, then definitely all these are the drivers. Accessibility means based on universal design, based on barrier free, based on least restrictive use, in terms of language, in terms of format, in terms of all. So accessibility of technology, anywhere, anytime living, changing school pedagogic practices, changing learner expectations, expectations of 21st century workplaces, all these are the drivers of e-learning in education. And so this is what just you can find the basic model basically. So three basically circles are there, and one you can see the traditional instructional facilitated learning. There is a I mean it is based on lectures, presentations and textbook only. But when we focus on the constructivist model, individual learning, because it's not a mass learning. It's not a passive model of learning. It's an active model of learning. So case study, self-instructional material, materials based on the pace of learning, the styles of learning, the attributes of learners, all formats of materials in terms of language, in terms of technology, in terms of the format of technology, all. So materials, multimedia contents, questions and answers. Because here is a case study, not a mass. Means we have to focus on the individualized learning. And social constructivist, definitely, it's a collaborative learning. We learn in groups. It's also called cooperative learning. So we have to make all applications, teaching learning materials using the various technological applications. So not only based on the lecture based, not only demonstration based, but based on question answer, based on case study, based on self-instruction, based on multimedia material, stimulations of all sense organs. So this is what it is the need of the art. And as we know that social constructivist society is based on the teamwork. So that teamwork must be there. And discussion forum should be there. So now the modern LMS, learning management system, they provide discussion forum, they provide some collaborative project, some team-based presentation, team-based project work. So basically, this is the social constructivist model. So this is the new model of pedagogy, basically. So we have to focus on that. So all that collaborative e-learning, like e-conferencing, e-opinions, e-pictures, e-reports, e-articles, e-journals, all e-grading, e-debates, e-seminars, taking e-notes, e-experiences, e-puzzles, e-proverbs, e-tasks, e-stories, and e-assignments. So all kind of exposures. It's example of numerous activities which students may engage in collaborative learning, and thus maintaining the basically the interactivity. That interaction should be there. And for that, basically, a lot of interventions basically in teaching learning process, online library, including books, research journals, digitized self-learning materials, audio video lectures, and audio video lectures having the sign language interpretation, having multi-sensory stimulation, because the sense organ of us is audio and video, but we have 5 sense organs. So maximum, and there is a very kind of direct relationship between sensory stimulation and learning. If multi-sensory stimulation would be there, then learning would be more effective. And of course, performance would be more accurate, precise. So, like talking books, We can make talking books with all examples in a question or answer format on the basis of programmed learning. That should be there. Talking books. It's a really very good thing, because being a teacher of this university, so we find that talking books are the lifeline for a special needs learner, sometimes for visually impaired learner. And that basically is all digitized knowledge like thesis and dissertation, web-based e-classroom, web radio, software like Moodle, MOOC-based integrated learning management system of universities like Coursera and all. So this is what this is the kind of interventions maybe. So, and basically when we basically focus on the evaluation part, because all the time we focus on education, teaching and learning, because teaching and learning involves a very scientific evaluation. And because pedagogy involves evaluation, andragogy involves evaluation. And in our country, examination and evaluation part is really very pathetic. In the name of CCE, comprehensive and continuous evaluation, in the name of semester-based examination, in the name of choice-based credit system, sometimes if you will see the real situation of that, then you will find it's a mockery of the system, basically. It's a mockery of the teaching learning process. So sometimes we feel burdened, overburdened in semester, because curriculum, finish the curriculum, and the learner also engaged in that, only the mechanical and maze learning kind of thing. And they are not able to even, their performance is very, very poor. Their employability is very poor. So that's why, first of all, with the help of technology, we have to change the whole evaluation system. We have to change the whole evaluation system. So if it would be not there, then definitely, because individual differences are there in classroom, and one examination, one format of examination, it makes a learner very confused. Just we underestimate the learner, because learner is visually impaired, and we take examination, we take assessment in traditional kind of initiative. No, it is not needed. So hearing impaired students are there, and we are taking their examination in traditional language format. Like, but definitely if they are language impaired, then how could we take the examination? So with the help of technology, with the help of the sensitive technology, human-based technology, the learner-based technology, we should make a good ambience. We could make a good ecosystem. So the online assignment not in terms of only the text. It may be in the form of audio. It may be in the term of visual. Because we have to assess the ability part of the learner. There's no need to make the students embarrassed, make our students stressed. So this is what the evaluation. If we have to make our society inclusive, then inclusive education would be there. And if we have to make the inclusive education successful, then we have to make our evaluation system inclusive with the help of technology. Then only the digital pedagogy, the techno pedagogy, the technical, the right technical interventions may change the whole landscape of education system. So this is what the all kind of now online and on-demand examination, it can only be possible through technology. Because if a learner is gifted, and why to wait them for 1 year? So online and on-demand evaluation and examination should be there with the help of technology. This is the integral part of pedagogical initiative. And as we know, the nowadays each and every university and colleges, basically they focus on results and digitized degrees on web portal, enabling real-time verification. And partially we are also now, but we have to go miles and miles in this area. Online evaluation of answer scripts, because there is transparency, there is accountability, there is uh, basically at any time, at any place, we can evaluate. So this is what there. And while when we talk of technology management, particularly in context of pedagogy, so two main mode of communication: synchronous, asynchronous. We must focus on. Within synchronous learning, as we know, learning and teaching takes place in a real time, same time, and it is more effective because learner can uh, pose any question, ask any question, and you can respond them. So it's a good kind of, but sometimes we find that synchronous learning and synchronous communication is not possible. In that condition, asynchronous learning or asynchronous communication may take place. So within synchronous learning, learning and teaching takes place in real time, same time, while they're separated from each other. Place shift, it is called. And that place shift, that physical separation, like I am in Lucknow and you are in Patna, and various corners across the country, the participants are there. So now it's a synchronous communication. You can ask directly any question to me. So, but sometimes asynchronous learning, in asynchronous learning, the trainer prepares the course material before the course takes place. The learner is free to decide when he wants to study the courseware. This is what, and there is a lot of example like uh, fax, email, knowledge base, news groups, computer-based training, quick reference guide. All these are the example of asynchronous learning. Synchronous learning is just like a telephone, screen sharing, chat, desktop conferencing, online seminar. So this is what. So really, this blended teaching learning process means that blending should be there. And because the online and digital education, because and ensuring the equitable use of technology, because we know the new circumstances and realities require new initiatives. The recent rise in epidemics and pandemics necessitates that we are ready with alternative modes of quality education whenever and wherever traditional and in-person modes of education are not possible. In this regard, even the National Education Policy 2020 recognizes the importance of leveraging the advantages of technology while acknowledging its potential risks and dangers. So we have to take care of risks and dangers even. It calls for carefully designed, this is the need of that, carefully designed and appropriately scaled pilot studies. Without pilot studies, we cannot post on the social networking, and we should not put in the public domain basically. So before putting them in public domain, that pilot study must be there, whether it is beneficial or not. What is the reaction of the learners, potential learners, the focus group? So that pilot studies to determine how the benefits of online digital education can be reaped while addressing or mitigating the downsides. In the meantime, the existing digital platform, because a lot of the many digital platforms are there in these days. The existing digital platforms and ongoing ICT-based educational initiatives must be optimized and expanded to meet the current and future challenges in providing quality education for all, because quality education for all is the need of the hour. So this is what the benefits of online digital education cannot be leveraged unless the digital divide is eliminated. As I said earlier, because we are living in democracy, we are living in democratic country, we are living in inclusive society, we are living in a human society. So that that digital divide must be eliminated through concerted efforts, such as Digital India campaign is there, and the availability of affordable computing devices. It is important that the use of technology for online and digital education adequately addresses concerns of equity. As I said earlier, that equity and equality and inclusion is the key word. That even in, if you will find the all key dimensions: access, affordability, accountability, equity, inclusion, all these are the buzzword, or all these are the keywords in National Education Policy 2020 even. So teachers require suitable training, because the man of technology, they don't know the teaching dynamics, and the man of teaching and learning, who is the knower of teaching and learning dynamics, they don't know the technology. So the bridging the gap between both should be there. So teachers require suitable training and development to be effective online educators. It cannot be assumed that a good teacher in a traditional classroom will automatically be a good teacher. Definitely, they cannot be a good teacher in an online classroom. So aside from changes required in pedagogy, online assessment also require. Online assessment also require, and definitely with different approach. There are, as we know, there are numerous challenges to conducting online examinations, online teaching, online assessment at a scale, including limitations on the types of questions, what type of questions, what type of item engineering. Item engineering means if you are a teacher, then you must be an evaluator. Then how to make the items for a test. So that item engineering must be there. So educametrics that must be known to you. So how a question, how the level of question, how a particular level of question ignite our brain. So if you will see the sign of interrogation, question mark, it matches with the back side of our brain, our encephalus. So that I mean, आप प्रश्न को, प्रश्न चिन्ह को यदि देखें, क्वेश्चन मार्क को देखें, तो आपको लगेगा कि ये ब्रेन का जो पिछला हिस्सा है उससे मैच कर रहा है. इट मीन्स व्हाट? द क्वेश्चन मस्ट make you ignited. That ignition must be there. Then online and digital evaluation would be there. So this is what, this is the challenge basically. So what type of questions that can be asked in an online environment? Handling network and power disruptions. It's a great challenge because the technological infrastructure is not good in our country. And definitely the certain types of courses, subjects such as performing arts, science, which have practicals basically, have limitations in the online or digital education space. So it's a great challenge. It's a huge challenge. How to address? Like performing arts cannot be taught through only technology. The experimentation in science basically cannot be. Simulation may be there, but that cannot work even. So this is what, how, and innovative measures what would be there. So we have to rethink on that, because the further, unless online education is blended with experimental and activity based learning, this is the need of the hour. So unless online education is blended with experimental and activity based learning, it will tend to become a screen based education only, with limited focus on the social, affective and psychomotor dimensions of learning. It would not work, because if you'll find the several video lectures are there, I mean the length of 1 hour, length of 2 hours, length of 3 hours, but it is not developed on the, I'm keeping in the mind of pedagogy, keeping in the mind of human brain, keeping in mind of the attention span of the learner. So that's why you must be a psychologist before, I mean, designing any technological mediated content. So this is what definitely we have to pursue the pilot studies for online education. We have to focus on the digital infrastructure. We have to focus on online teaching platform and tools like Swam, Diksha, and all. So we have to focus on the content creation, and content creation with the principles of sociology and psychological concerns and variables, digital repository, and useful digital repository, and not only repository, but the mode of dissemination. And of course, addressing the digital divide. And basically, virtual labs. So if you're making virtual labs, existing e-learning platforms such as Diksha, Swam, and Swam Prabha even will also be leveraged for creating virtual labs. It is the need of the hour. We have to create the virtual labs with the help of technology, so that all students have equal access to quality practical and hands-on experience-based learning experiences. The possibility of providing adequate access to socio-economically disadvantaged section, means gender-related identity, socio-cultural related identity, geographical related identity, socio-economic condition related identity, disability related identity, all they come into the category of SEDs, socio-economically disadvantaged group. And teachers, through suitable digital devices such as tablets and preloaded content, must be considered and developed. And training and incentives for teachers. And it is the need of our basically. So online assessment and examination, blended models of learning. And because, without blending, you cannot do anything. So while promoting digital learning and education, the importance of face-to-face in-person learning is fully recognized. Accordingly, different effective models of blended learning will be identified. And here research is needed because our generation is new, socio-cultural situation is evolving. And basically, we are the first generation user. So what would be the, modalities of using? So all these are the matter of basically research. So at college level, at university level, we have to conduct research on that area. So these standards, definitely this finding of research standards will help to formulate guidelines for e-learning by all, boards, schools, college personnel, university personnel, and even learners. And, first of all, and the most important thing is what? So we have to lay down standards. Because as research on online and digital education emerges, the national educational technology framework that should be there and other appropriate bodies definitely will set up standards of content, technology, and pedagogy. Because not only technology, the integration of, first of all, content, first of all, learner, then content, then pedagogy, and then technology for online and digital teaching learning. So only technology would not solve our problem. And these standards definitely will help to formulate guidelines for e-learning by all members, all stakeholders. So it is essential for making it happen. So definitely now it's time to conclude. So nowadays there is move away from instructivism to constructivism. Now it's time to focus on learner activism. It's time to focus on learning theories. It's time to focus on learning as an active process. It's time to knowledge is constructed rather than received. It's time to consider that knowledge is not fixed object. It is constructed by an individual through her own experience of that object. So if we have to create learning communities, then collaboration and collaborative practices would be the need of the real world. So definitely learners assume the responsibilities of their own learning. And to develop a metacognitive abilities to monitor and direct their own learning and performance, seeing a problem from different perspectives and are able to negotiate and generate meanings and solution through shared understanding, because the sharing of understanding is needed. And then learning can be facilitated through active participation socially, technologically, culturally, historically, politically situation context. And that context is very important. That contextual learning is very important. So technology may be a journey. So it's not a destination. So learners definitely are provided the opportunity to construct their own sense of what is being learned by building internal connections or relationships among the ideas and facts being taught. And for that, we know that new knowledge is based on our previous knowledge. So you must have knowledge about the prior knowledge of the learner, basically. So that prior knowledge must be acknowledged and challenged. And it can only be based on the joint cognitive venture, that ambiguity, uncertainty. Sometimes a learner face ambiguity and uncertainty and conceptual conflict, and that is essential for teaching and learning. So, and because learner is means for, they are indulged in searching for meaning, basically. So knowledge is constructed internally. This is not externally. You cannot impose even. So learner continuously organize, reorganize, structure, and restructure new experiences to fit them to existing schemata, your schema, and computed structures. learner capacities to explore and experiment, to generate own mental modes. This is what important kind of deliberation. So, motivation. It is JPD, zone of proximal development. Zone of proximal development means what? We must know the potential journey and actual level of the learner. Means what is the potential achievement of the learner and what is the actual achievement at present. This is the difference between the actual and potential. This is called JPD. And a teacher must be comfortable with the identification of JPD, zone of proximal development. And we must provide the scaffolding. Scaffolding means what? Support, cognitive support, temporary support, not permanent support. If learners ask if we need support, then only we can provide the support. Otherwise, learner would be dependent. And we have to make the learner independent. So this is collaborative learning, kind of. Social and individual basis of learning, we have to focus. Situated learning means we have to focus on the context. Social negotiation should be there. Students must take their ownership of learning, and that anchored instruction on the basis of the previous knowledge. Dialogue and instructional conversation. So these are the kind of pedagogical kind of consideration, and we know that for new learner, that apprenticeship is most important in terms of heuristic situation, situated learning, modeling. We can provide the model, we can coach the student, we can articulate, we can reflect, we can explore, and similarly, the students can focus on that. So universal design of learning is the key part of, key component of pedagogy. Like multiple means for representation. We have to represent in various ways, through technology, through all sensory organs, multiple means of expression, keeping in mind the all language, linguistic diversity, multiple means of engagement, and the 5E, we have to take care of the 5E. First of all, we have to engage the learner. Then we tend to explore them. The exploration, then explanation, then elaboration, and then evaluation. This 5E is the heart of the pedagogical consideration and pedagogical consideration. The engagement, exploration, explanation, elaboration, and evaluation. This is what. And then only this blended teaching and learning process then would be an appropriate approach to education that combines online education materials and opportunities for interaction online with traditional place-based classroom methods. It requires the physical presence of both teacher and students with some elements of student control over time, place, path, or pace. So this blended learning, this blended pedagogy combines classroom learning with online learning, in which students can in part control the time, pace, and place of their learning. So this is what it can be face-to-face driver, rotation model, flex model, online lab, self-blending, online driver. We can, through this, we can make it more effective. So these are the models basically. When we develop some, digital content, then we have to focus on this, synchronous, asynchronous, both. And this is what this is. We can say that blended learning pedagogy, it means the traditional and the technology based. The abstract pedagogy is rapidly changing. Blended learning is one of the most important pedagogical formats that can enhance student learning, optimize the use of active learning strategies, and potentially improve students' learning outcomes. Definitely, it's a good learning pedagogy. It is based on multisensory engagement in the learning, based on observation, demonstration, making predictions, It must be based on exploration, discussion with peers on observation. So that must be there in that digital content, like observation, demonstration, making predictions, explanation of concepts based on teacher's query, elaboration, justification of the students. We have to engage the students even to get elaborated experience. So then only then we can only bridge the gap between the previous knowledge and the new knowledge of the learners. So for evaluation, inclusive evaluation like NRE, non-referenced evaluation, criterion referenced evaluation, context input process product-based evaluation, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and challenges-based evaluation, that is called SWOC, and continuous and comprehensive evaluation, formal evaluation, the scholastic evaluation in the form of formal, informal, that would be the need of the hour. The technology can be challenging rather than useful. Blended learning makes teachers overwork. It may be the darker side of that, but we have to overcome. The students can experience cognitive load too. Credibility of source and plagiarism become even a bigger issue. It is a really kind of issue. So this is what that blended learning. Definitely, to conclude, I should say that blended learning that uses applications, games, or measurable programs to teach concepts allows the students to engage the material at their own pace. It can promote deeper learning, reduce stress, and increase student satisfaction. Teachers can become more engaged with their students. It calls for a blend of online and in-person education, and there is a growing evidence that it surpasses traditional methods. Blended learning has proven itself as not only a teaching strategy that allows greater flexibility, but one that is more effective than traditional methods. That's why it is said that technology in education is a journey, it's a continuous process, and it's not a destination. And capacity will be needed to orchestrate the various ecosystem players to implement educational objectives. Thank you very much for patient hearing.
Thank you,
And
sir. So there's a
so
query. Excuse me, sir.
yes, please.
There is some question in the chat box. I'm just reading it out. When we are using
Yeah, please.
technology for our teaching activity like Google Meet, it is difficult to obtain student participation on a regular basis. When we ask a
Yes.
question, very few students post answer in chat window or, or speak. How do increase the student participation during Google Meet classes or online classes? Any suggestion or technology solution?
Definitely. First of all, as I said earlier, because sometimes because knowing the very dynamics of learning, very dynamics of the learner itself, we just start, teaching. We just start making them learn. So rather, it's not a learning process. Basically, it's a teaching process. So if we will be taking care of the interest. So I am also taking, various classes on Google Meet and just research methodology and measurement and evaluation. All these are the very kind of very abstract subject. Basically, we need active participation of the learner. So, sometimes we find if we take care of the interest of the learner, rather only imposing the content, only the delivering the content, only the making our curriculum finished, then definitely they would not take they would not participate even. They will have various kind of uh, 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 questions like just the network issue is there, just I am not basically, it not might be the network issue, but the students at the another part you cannot see the actual condition basically. So this is the limitation of that. So first of all, I mean, you must be a good pedagogue. You must your I mean content very a question answer session kind of thing. So you must make your content very short, very interesting, exemplifying, making more suitable examples, and by I mean doing that, definitely students would take interest, and students would definitely uh, 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 take part in your teaching learning process. Otherwise, it would be monotonous. It would be just like a formality, just giving their presence only. Yes sir, no sir, absent sir, present sir. Only thing is that. But if a good teacher, uh, if they would be taking care of the all pedagogical concerns, the systematic presentation of the content, logical presentation of presentations, and then posing the interesting examples related to their context, then definitely it would be interesting. There is some shortcomings of technology, but in this pandemic situation, there is the only solution of, and with the help of only technology, we are able to teach even, and we are able to make them learn. So definitely, it has some shortcomings, but it can be overcome by our own wisdom, our own experience, our own, I mean, contemplative process.
Thank you, sir. Sir, and there is one more question asked by Nagapavan Chintalpati, sir. For effective online teaching, what infrastructure would you recommend for the teachers to have?
Please repeat. You can maybe
Okay,
repeat.
sir. Okay, sir. Okay. Uh, for effective online teaching, what infrastructure would
Yeah.
you recommend for the teachers to have?
Not only teachers, but students even. So first of all, we have to ensure whether the learners have learners are having good mobile set, and the availability of network, and even the infrastructure of that. So basically,
Yes, sir.
not only teachers, if you will be having a good laptop and laptop of Apple company, and your students are not having such type of electronic gadgets, then how could you make it? Because learning is a interactive process, it's a bipolar process. So definitely the network connection, the good uh, mobile, and the good version of mobile, I mean the good applications, and the driving of and the handling of the all applications, that is needed even. If it would be not only providing the technological gadgets, only the providing the technological equipments, that would not work even. So the training part, and the orientation part, and the threshold facilities, the optimum facilities like computer, like mobile, like network, like all things. I mean, they are needed. Otherwise, it would be difficult to, even partially interact, not fully interact. Because learning must be very interactive, learning must be joyous, learning must be interactive, learning must be, taking the participation of the students. So I think this is the basic requirement.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was wonderful to have you today on the last day of this FDP. It was a remarkable session, and I hope many of us have gained a lot from your session. Thank you, sir, again. We are taking a lunch break for half an hour till 2 p.m. We will resume at 2 p.m. for the validatory session. Okay, thank you. Thank you, all of you.
So because I have time constraints, so I'll be unable to attend that
Okay,
validity
okay,
session.
sir. Okay.
So I'll take your leave basically, because I have to go to our university, and I have to take care of all
Okay,
my
sir.
assignments.
Okay, sir, no problem. Thank you very, very much, sir, for giving your time, sir. Thank you.
So thank you very
You
much
have
for giving me the
shared.
opportunity.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir. We'll resume at 2 p.m. Dear participants, will resume for validatory
Thank you.
session at 2 p.m. Okay? Okay then. Okay, bye.